breaking the wall to space science and careers in Aotearoa NZ. Andrew Mills, Tuarangi Aotearoa in space, New Zealand.
When I say New Zealand, what's the first thing you think of? Although we're a small country at the bottom of the world, Aotearoa New Zealand is known worldwide for our beautiful landscapes, unique wildlife, rich cultural history, or maybe even the iconic Lord of the Rings movies. In recent years, we've added another trophy on the shelf with our rapidly growing space industry. We were the 11th nation to launch a satellite into orbit, and our remote location has attracted big investments from many different space organizations. Our people are helping build and launch rockets and satellites. We're crafting cleaner, greener space fuels, and we're using satellite data and imagery to help us better understand and protect our environment. I think our space industry is pretty fantastic, but if you ask the average Kiwi about it, most don't know much about it at all. There is a significant gap in public understanding and engagement with space, and bridging this gap is essential, as New Zealand's future will increasingly depend on space-related science and technologies. We need to get the next generation of young Kiwis ready to reach for the stars. To do this, we created a mobile space science showcase called Tuarangi, which in the Māori language means to discover New Zealand's place in space. New Zealand's indigenous Māori people have a long history of living by the stars, tracing back to ancestors who used the stars to help navigate around the Pacific Ocean. In the showcase, we weave together traditional Māori narratives about space with New Zealand's achievements and aspirations for our space industry. One of the narratives we share highlights the journey of the Māori god named Tāwhaki, who embarks on a mission, travelling into the heavens to attain knowledge. If you visited the showcase, you'd be guided on your very own space mission. You could touch a 4 billion-year-old meteorite, or generate the cycles of the solar system to discover our place in space. You could track the positions of thousands of objects orbiting our Earth, or build your very own mini satellite called a CubeSat. You can also touch and hold real-life pieces of New Zealand's space industry, from 3D printed satellite parts to sheep wool that is being purpose-bred for the next moon mission. All of these interactives, and 24 more, have travelled from the bottom of New Zealand to the top, visiting schools, libraries, museums, and community centres. At each location, we feature local people working in the space industry. These people share their amazing work and the journeys that they took into the space industry. Since launching a year ago, we have reached over 75,000 people across both urban and remote areas. For context, that's about 1 in every 50 New Zealanders have seen this showcase. Along the way, we have heard wonderful stories from our visitors. Children are heading outside to watch the stars and build and launch their very own rockets. And telescopes and chemistry sets are replacing other toys under the Christmas tree. We've also surveyed teachers from the schools we've visited. Over 75% have noticed that space learnings are extending into the classroom, with students showing increased enjoyment and engagement with these topics. Our successes would not have been possible without the support of New Zealand's space experts. As we connected with aerospace engineers and astrobiologists, rocket mathematicians, and Māori experts in astronomy, we learned the importance of going into meetings with a spirit of curiosity and openness to new ideas and perspectives. As we integrated all of their content into the showcase, we also learned the value of keeping the intended audience in mind. We needed to make sure that our content was accessible and informative for even our youngest visitors. Our Tuarangi showcase has brought the wonder of space and science to tens of thousands of Kiwis nationwide. Together, we have celebrated New Zealand's growing space industry and highlighted the vast number of career pathways awaiting young STEM enthusiasts. Now, we're going to keep reaching for the stars. And I hope, for you, the next time you hear the name New Zealand, the first thing that you think of is our space industry.
Do you have any Maori role models between the scientists that are engaged with this project?
Yes, we definitely do. So one of the Māori experts that we've worked with, she is an expert, her name is Pauline Harris. She's an expert in Māori astronomy, but also is an astrophysicist. So does amazing work in both Western science spaces, as well as with a deep knowledge of the mātauranga or Māori knowledge systems as well. So working with her has been fantastic. She helped us, as well as a couple of other Māori experts as well. Yes.
What you talked about, is it dominantly being used in school as part of a curriculum, or rather informal learning opportunities like in libraries and science centers and elsewhere? Could you expand a little bit on that bit?
It really depends on the location that we go to. Some of the bigger cities that we've set up in, we set it up in a library and we run community sessions, so our science communicators get to be on the ground in that town and run sessions that way. And we also bring in schools and they have class sessions to come to us. Other ways, often when we go to really rural locations, we take the entire showcase to the school itself and run class sessions with them. So an hour long with about 25 students, and we guide small groups of the students around, and they get to have really cool hands-on experiences. So it really depends. In total, we've had about 140 class sessions that we've run, and we've been to, I think it's 40 plus schools, so quite a few across the country.
Sounds very impressive. A lot of attention to one specific field, so to speak. I wonder if you're increasing exposure to science as a whole, and people, instead of watching television, are now doing science, or do the teachers, for example, also see a shift from insects to space, for example? So I've not seen a lot of examples where you had such a massive investment in a given community, and I'm curious what that implies for the other sciences.
I think in terms of our evaluation, when we have been asking survey data from teachers and from parents and even the children themselves, I think probably we've been only focusing on asking them about the knowledge of space and science in general, but we haven't asked about broader areas. But I think once you get children in the classroom that are engaging with science, even if it is space science specifically, teachers can kind of use that knowledge and pull them into other areas. So a lot of the topics we're talking about with space are related to climate change. And then from climate change, you can talk about ocean health and protecting our rivers and lands. So I feel like we give teachers the tools to kind of pull in different interests from the students and bring them into other areas of science. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.